anyone ever looks through my old high school yearbooks, which I dearly hope never happens, you will see that in senior year, I received the superlative of most likely to fall asleep in class. This is inaccurate, as I did the vast majority of my academic sleeping in study hall, not class. Either way, it is well known that I love my sleep. Unfortunately, I also love staying up late. In order to get the most out of both of these situations, I've come up with a lot of time-saving methods over the years, mostly to use in the mornings, that allow me to sleep in as late as possible after staying up far too late the previous night. One of these methods is the one I use to do my hair, a process that only takes a minute or two in the mornings, as almost all the effort I put into my hair is done the night before. For all of you that love to save precious sleep, this process might be for you. Firstly, the night before, I like to take a shower and wash my hair. I like to shampoo it twice, focusing on the scalp area so that way I get all of the impurities and oils and product buildup out of my hair, leaving me with fresh, clean hair to work with. After I shampoo, I like to condition from about the top of the neck down, so that way I don't condition my scalp because it weighs down my hair with product and my hair gets greasy faster if I condition all the way up there. If I condition the ends, I lock in moisture and I keep my hair healthier. You're going to want to let that sit for a few minutes, and afterwards you're going to want to rinse everything out. Make sure all of the shampoo, all of the conditioner is completely out of your hair, or else you're going to wind up all the way back at square one, which is having dirty hair with product buildup. After you've washed and rinsed your hair, you're going to want to minimize the amount of time your hair spends wet, as having wet hair can lead to breakage if you let it soak all the way into your hair for too long, as it weakens its structure. So what I like to do is I like to blow dry my hair after every shower. This could lead to heat damage if you have your blow dryer set at too high of a heat, or if you do it without heat protectant too often. So make sure you use at least a little bit of heat protectant and that you don't have it cranked all the way up before you blow dry your hair. I like to blow dry my hair upside down, as this leads to more volume on top of my head and it dries out my roots faster, so I don't have to spend half an hour blow drying my hair. Once I'm about like 50% through blow drying it, I like to brush it out so I can minimize hair breakage that happens when it's wet, but I'm also not trying to tease out a giant knot that I've blow dried into my hair. After your hair is all the way dry, you're going to want to curl it with a heated tool. I personally like to use a hair straightener, but you don't have to. You can use a curling iron, hair wand, air wrap, whatever you happen to have. It doesn't matter which, really, so long as it's curled the way you like it and it's a heated tool. After that, you're going to let it sit for a couple minutes, like 3 to 5 minutes, to let your hair cool all the way down. So that way your curls have more definition, they last a little longer, and then when you brush it out, they don't immediately collapse. After you brushed your hair out, you're going to want to put in some heated curls, not heated curls, heatless curls, which might seem a little excessive on top of the heated curls, but this will allow your hair to last a lot longer the next day. After I've done heatless curls on top of heated curls, I've had curls that have lasted for a week straight. Granted, that's a rare occurrence, but it could happen. I don't personally like to do the heatless robe tie curls because I can't sleep in it, and the entire point of this whole process is to save me sleep. So what I like to do is I like to brush my hair up into a nice loose ponytail on top of my head and take a satin scrunchie and wrap it up there. I like to use a satin scrunchie because it minimizes the weird crease you get from a ponytail because I'm leaving it in all night. After it's up in the ponytail, you're going to want to divide it into sections. I like to do 4 because it works the best with the thickness of the hair that I have, but the more sections that you put in, the tighter the curls are going to be and the more defined they are. After you have your section, you're going to want to dampen a little bit with water. You can just wet your hand and run along the hair, or I like to use a spray bottle. So you give it a spritz, you dampen it, but you don't want to soak it, or else it'll take too long to dry. After you have it damp, you're going to want to take another satin scrunchie. You're going to want to let the end wrap around it, following the curl pattern you already have, working with the pattern that's already there. After it's curled around the end, you're going to want to take the scrunchie and roll it all the way down until you hit the end of the ponytail. Then you take a bobby pin or a claw clip, whatever you happen to have, and just pin it in place. You're going to want to do the same thing with all of your sections, and then once all the sections are up in a bun, you give it one last spritz or one last dampening, and then you get to my favorite part of this entire process, which is sleeping on it. You could take a little nap with like an hour or two, in which case you don't want to dampen your hair as much. Or, like me, you can try getting a whole 8 hours in, but so long as your hair is completely dry by the time you wake up, this process will work perfectly. Once you wake up in the morning, preferably 5 minutes before you have to go anywhere, you can take your hair out, slide the scrunchie out, slide the ponytail out, and shake out your overnight curls. That way, you are all good to go. May your sleep be long and your bad hair days be never.